and you attack
Soyo.
Soyo.
And there were, I think, 3,000 or so UNITA troops, and they were good ones, and they were expecting us. And they had some mercenaries too. We never really got to the bottom of that.
How were they expecting you?
They knew we were going to attack.
Because word gets out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
This is
course.
Africa.
Absolutely. This is Africa.
Explain that expression, this is Africa.
Well, I think it's true anywhere, though. I mean, you know, but also it was a very extreme situation there because actually the FAA, the Forces Armadas Angolinas, or whatever they were called, had been specifically formed by recruiting people out of the old army and UNITA. So there were UNITAs within the headquarters with whom we were working. So it was a sort of classic situation, really, of there being no strategic surprise whatsoever. So the necessity being, therefore, to create tactical surprise. You know, we were not going to come sort of suddenly appear and surprise them because they knew we were coming.
And so how did you create tactical surprise?
We managed to get helicopters assembled, which no one thought we would. But John de Matos, the Angolan general, and I, working together, Tony and I persuaded them that the only way to do this was with helicopters.
How many helicopters did you get?
We had 4 Mi-17s and 2 Mi-24 gunships, which was just about the entire helicopter fleet of the whole of Angola.
How do you negotiate these deals? I'm seeing like drinks at some hotel bar where you're like trying to plan this, or like these covert lunches at the palace, and like.
No, the president was. We had nothing to do with the president, and of the Angolans, the one who was really driving the thing was because he was fluent in English, was Joachim David, the head of Sonangol. But I mean, Sonangol, you know, that is the national oil company.
Okay.
And that is the source of revenue, of all of their revenue. And Joachim David had been a captain in the Portuguese parachute regiment back in the day, because remember, until 1975, the Portuguese were fighting in Angola against
the rebels.
Not the national, you know,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, because they controlled it.
The people.
The people, right? Okay. All right. So you go in with helicopters, 15-year-olds, against an equally matched force that also might have some mercenaries with them as well.
Yeah.
From what country?
South Africa.
South Africa. Okay.
Same as us.
Okay. Same as you. And you are not on the ground with them. You decided not to be.
No, but although in fact Tony and I both went in on we took them in.
What does that mean?
Well, so in my case, because one of the things when you're kind of launching people in helicopters is you want to be absolutely sure that where you're going to actually land the helicopter, you're not flying into an ambush or a trap or something like that. So we had to put some people in to have a look and then radio the all clear during the night before. So the helicopters were going to come in at first light, and I took up 2 recce patrols that we launched off an oil field support vessel in the night. It's fairly, you know, it probably all sounds more dramatic than it really is, but it's fairly sort of standard procedure. And then the helicopters come in at first light, and the 3,000 arrive in this great big landing craft ship thing, which had tanks on it as well, and immediately broke its stern anchor. Because you know when a landing craft comes in, there's a big swell. And so it's got to drop an anchor off the stern and then run in onto the beach and then pull in on the anchor. Otherwise the boat will broach.
Okay, right.
In the surf.
Okay.
Well, the anchor rope broke, and it did broach, flooding the tanks and a lot of the ammunition with seawater. And this is going on now under fire. So the helicopters have landed their guys, our guys. So there's a sort of firefight going on there. There's a couple of cannons firing at the boat I'm in, which was trying to look innocent and sort of oil industry like, we just happened to be here sort of thing, which they didn't buy. And this boat leaning over on the beach, quite a scary, I mean the whole thing, you can imagine, it was not, it was very dangerous, and the South Africans were just amazing. And so then what happened was we then ran the thing from Cabinda, which is on the other side of the mouth of the River Congo. It's 20 kilometers away from Soyo, but was the nearest place where we could mount the necessary logistics, food, water, ammunition going in, and casualties coming out.
Okay. And how did the battle end up going? How long did it take?
It took, I think it probably took, it's hard to remember now, but it probably took, I should think 6 days before we knew that, or we believed we were winning.
Wow. How do you keep the 15-year-old kids fighting over 6 days? Are they doing it for money?
Oh, no.
No.
No, they're doing it for survival by that stage. I mean, this was serious fighting. And they were hand-to-hand fighting, hand grenades, grenade distances.
And there's nowhere to run at that point, so you just
Not really, no.
fight for survival.
No. It was a peninsula.
Okay.
But we always kept the, in fact, I said to Tony, I remember saying to Tony, I said, I think we're winning. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, because the helicopter crews are wearing their uniforms. It's the first day. Up till then, they'd all been wearing plain clothes. So if the helicopter had crashed or shot down and they had to go on the run, they were not in uniform. And when I saw them in flying suits, I thought, aha, morale is improving.
Oh, wow. All right. And the whole time...
But it was a logistical battle, like all of these things, because UNITA were on a hugely long logistical march from where they were to their headquarters. So every round of ammunition and every casualty for them was a massive logistical issue. Whereas for us, it was a helicopter issue.
Okay. And that's what won the battle, you believe?
Yeah. What really won the battle was the quality of the South African soldiers.
Leading them.
But the soldiers themselves. And this is an interesting point about the whole executive outcome story, is that those soldiers, those South African soldiers, they'd been fighting, many of them, for like 10 years. They were South African Special Forces. They'd been fighting what the South Africans called the frontier wars, in Namibia, Angola, Mozambique. And they were very, very good. And they were just at the time when they were coming out because the white government of South Africa was coming to an end. Remember, this is 92.
Right.
So Mandela and everything is about to happen.
Okay.
And the South African Defence Force were literally tearing up people's pensions. So, and this is my point when talking to other people about PMCs and this whole executive outcome story, because people are fascinated by the story.
Right. PMC is private military contract.
You've got to put this into context. It just happened to be that these amazingly experienced, battle-hardened guys were suddenly on the market and extremely available and extremely pissed off with their own establishment.